Ladies and gentlemen, this is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you. We'll be on GSL's Calm Before the Storm. And let me tell you, we are in for a treat. It is going to be Cheetah and Crank now battling it out. Press 1 if you're pumped to see Cheetah back in the action. We haven't casted a Cheetah game in a good little while. We've been missing him in some of our tournaments. It looks like he kind of got busted out early. And he very rarely invites us to his early games in the tournament. He doesn't like to get stream cheated in a best of one, so it just helps. He tries to eliminate that on his own. He explained that to me once, and I said, you know what? I agree with you, brother. And since sometimes we just don't have the delay up because, well, I mean, the delay server is like down half the time, I think it's not a bad little choice. Now, ChitaPrime will be our blue Protoss up here in the top right-hand corner, and in cross positions it will be Crank, his Zerg opponent. Now, Calm Before the Storm is an enormous map. It also has 3 very easy to take and defend bases, which can be good for both of these players or bad for both of these players. It just depends on how it is played. The 4th base is the more difficult one to take on this map. But, I mean, what 4th base is easy to take, right? I mean, I guess there's not many maps where it's an easy 4th. But Cheetah, going to be starting with, I assume, a standard opener. You're probably going to see him toss down either a Forge or a Gateway here. My guess is going to be a Gateway at this point. You can take your free expansion here in the back pocket expand with a Gateway opener. And so Cheetah may be in that type of mood. We'll see how it's going to play out for him. Unless he wants to get super aggressive. I have seen some players at his level of play do a Forge Fast expand. They put their Forge here, start cannoning on the low ground, and take double expands early in the game, which is an interesting play. And it is going to be a Forge here, so I'm wondering, it could very well be that we're going to see a double expand off of this Forge. We'll check back in on that here in just a moment. Notice Crank opening with his spawning pool, did get that 14 pool down, and looks like he is going to take an expand right now. 2.5 minutes in, looking pretty good. Cheetah is grabbing some scouting intel as well. Does see the hatchery going down. Ooh, is he going to go for some cannoning? I think he may. Good old Cheetah. Good old Cheetah is going to block himself in here. I don't know if he could block that one off here. Oh, actually, I think he did figure out how to block that off. Testing it, too. That's awesome. Wow, cool. So he's testing. He's like, I can't tell if that's going to be tight or not, so he tests it. And here goes your cannon. And is going to evac this position here. Looks like this pylon may end up going down, but now he's got double photon cannons going down, triple photon cannons. And he's going to keep this little position under lock, but his Forge going down in great time. Another cannon going down, and that's going to really enable these, I think, cannons to stay alive here. Nope. Cancel. So he's going to lose 2 pylons. A lot of commitment here for Cheetah. Actually, when it comes down to it, he's really lost a lot of minerals. And check that units lost. It's 261, in fact, and about to be 461. Now, he is evacuating his probe here and taking an expansion ASAP. And also put down a Gateway and a photon cannon here for defense. Appears to be in great time. But, man, that's a lot of commitment there for very little return, I'd say, at this point. So Crank got to be feeling pretty happy about himself. However, he is going to want to take down these pylons. Uh-oh. He's going to retry. This is what I love about Cheetah, man. If at first you don't succeed, a cannon rush again, right? And he's doing this mostly to keep his opponent kind of on his back foot, but he is going to cancel that thing. Just keeping his opponent on his toes here. Nicely done. He is going to try and pull out a little bit of extra usefulness from these pylons that will indeed go down here in just a few moments. But the natural here for Cheetah will be up here momentarily, and tech for Crank is currently just his metabolic speed boost, going to be grabbing that speed for the Lings. He does have his second gas, but currently not mining it. And there goes a Roach Warren. Cool, so kind of a fast Roach Warren there. Relatively fast on a macro map like this, but we may see some 2-base play from him. I do want to mention very quickly that notice that most of your Zerg opponents, or Zerg players rather, are taking their first hatchery in this position, and then they take this back pocket expansion as their third. Tends to be easier to defend in this position here than it is to try and defend 2 bases, this one and this one, in, I don't know, what would you call it, this position? So you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. It's a lot easier to defend all 3 bases right here. But good play here from Cheetah so far. He did lose a little bit up front, but we'll see how he's going to transition here. Units tab will show that he does have a significant economic lead. 32 probes to 26 drones, so even though he lost some minerals, this guy's been droning up the entire time and has taken an economic lead off of this. It's just, I mean, this just goes to show what kind of player ChitaPrime is. Really, really phenomenal. He's just got some great skill, great amount of skill. And he's kind of forcing Crank to, to commit to defending that. It's always a nice little play. But Crank, in the meantime, is going to be gearing up for some movement out across the field. It's some roaches headed that way. Poking up the ramp there, does see the one photon cannon. We do see that +1 weapons going down for Cheetah. I like this. I like this pretty good. And a bunch of gateways should be complete here in just a few moments. Would like to see some chrono going down on this Cybercore, as well as a little bit of scouting. Notice that he has been playing relatively blind moving forward, and here comes a very large attack. Bunch of roaches cruising out across the field, as well as a bunch of lings streaming behind in a line. And your attack is about to go, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna have to come down to some force fielding here. Good force field so far. Want to split these units. Doesn't want all the roaches doing the damage at once, if at all possible. He should be able to stave this off for just a little while, but the photon cannon's going down. One of them did go down there. He's rebuilding some more. And the roaches will make it in here, it appears. Going to have to see some more force fielding. Rebuilding this pylon very, very quickly. Uh-oh. Lings and roaches now at the ready. Oh, and they do make it in. ChitaPrime in a lot of trouble here. Needed one more force field there. He wasn't quite able to get it. We do have one photon cannon here complete, but it's about to die. This one not going to be too far behind. But a lot of links now cruising around, stalling a lot of this production here. Notice that Cheetah going to be pulling all of his probes. And long distance mining here for a moment. Nope, he's going to go ahead and take down a roach with his probes. And getting out some zealots. He's got to try and defend this. It looks like he is going to send an immortal over here. Should see him wall this off here in just a moment. Good force field there. Looks like these lings will be able to snipe the Nexus, but ChitaPrime does not give up. This guy will not GG too early. If this immortal and all these guys go down, I guess maybe there's a possibility of a GG here, but while he's got units fighting for him, man, he's going to be trying to hold on here the best that he can. Great force fielding yet again, but Crank staying aggressive here is exactly what he wants to do. He's got this gaping hole, wants to get these lings into his opponent's base, and there he goes getting some more in. Looks like he may be able to snipe this immortal. Nope, not quite. So this force fielding again, just saving Cheetah. And he should be able to force field this position for just a little while longer. Maybe not. Doesn't need it, I guess. But back to mining he goes. Crank in pretty decent shape, man. 45 supply, 231. ChitaPrime just barely able to hold on by the skin of his teeth. And appears to be in an okay position now, but looks like Crank going to re this one. Beef up for another attack. This did put Cheetah back onto the one base. Checking in on that units tab, it also put him back to 19 probes. Ouch. That is a lot of probe losses there. And the re going to be difficult to deal with here. Crank beefing up his units yet again. A lot of lings cruising out here. We've got, oh man, that's a lot of lings. And the third base going down here for Crank. So regardless, this transition should be in pretty good time. Uh-oh. ChitaPrime did force field his ramp, keeping these guys out of his base. But that is not going to be the deal for these units. Oh, they do make it in. Two, very bad. Crank is going to make it in here. Cheetah is going to be in a lot of trouble. This economy cannot suffer any more losses. He's pulling these probes here one last time. Hopes to be able to make this defense happen. But if they snipe this Nexus, man, he is going to be in severe shape. Absolutely brutal shape. What can I tell you? Back to mining he goes. Going to wall this sucker off completely. Looks like Crank very, very aggressive here, but I love it. He's able to do a heck of a lot of damage. Looks like Cheetah will be able to clean this up here momentarily, but man, the losses that he's suffered so far have been brutal. Nicely done. Units lost shows that Cheetah is indeed behind 1,200 resources extra than his opponent. Checking in on that units tab, 48 drones right now for Crank is really the story here to be told of Crank's gameplay. He's just done a phenomenal job putting Cheetah behind in this game, and so coming back here is going to be very difficult for ChitaPrime. Now we do have that Twilight Council out. We could see some DTs. Is not sometimes a great transition for players who find themselves in this behind type scenario. Or either that or going for some Archons is not a bad little play here, but he is working on some scouting. Want to send out an observer to see what's going on Crank's side of the map. which I think is good. Needs to get that intel out right now. A couple roaches here cruising out across the field for Crank. I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do with these guys. But Cheetah could potentially kick it here on 2 base for a little while. If he can bide his time, we could see him start to come back. Notice he's going to be tossing down a pylon here. He's absolutely going to need to get some photon cannons out in his mineral lines, because he's going to have some Spire play here fairly quickly. I assume it's going to be Mutalisks as we move forward. He is on 3 base here. Crank is doing a phenomenal job. That lair up and running in a very big way. No upgrades, however, from Crank. I would like to see him grab some upgrades as well. But 10 mutas on the way here very, very quickly. And it looks like this attack should be coming our way on Cheetah's side of the map here in just a few moments. But nice little defense here for now. But Cheetah is really going to have to catch wind of his opponent's Spire. And he does have that Observer cruising forward. Should be able to catch wind of the Spire if he does make it over there. Oh my goodness, he's backing out. He needs to scout the Spire. If he does not scout the Spire, it could be lights out. Lights out indeed. He's working on Blink, however, so that's a nice transition, and that should be... that'll really enable him to fend these guys off should he find himself with enough Stalkers to do so. And currently he has no Stalkers, so... But a bunch of Photon Cannons. He did scout those mutas with his Observer, luckily. One muta's going down there. Looks like one Photon Cannon died as well. Looks like they're going to get unpowered here, too. Oh, brutal. Couple Stalkers here getting in the mix. Looks like they do take down a good couple of those mutas. Defense here not going too terribly bad for Cheetah, but Crank taking a 4th base right now is just going to overrun his opponent here in the near future. 117 supply to 50. Absolutely no fun if your name is Cheetah. And Cheetah has got 1 Photon Cannon going down here, but it's not going to be complete in time. He's got to get his units in defensive position here. Great transfer here from Cheetah. Very, very quick response time, but does not want to lose too many of these units. And looks like Crank going to go ahead and fight these guys head on. In the meantime, we've got, oh my goodness, what are all these guys doing? Wow, Overlord's headed to this position. That's kind of funny. Okay, but Crank now with down to 4 mutas. Cheetah's done a decent job holding this off, but the supply differential here for Crank just continues to grow. I just don't know how Cheetah's going to be able to pull this one out. But I do love that he always gives it the best try that he possibly can, and indeed he is going to continue here. Love it. Does have some high temps at the ready. Storm currently in production, so good storms could be the answer here. But moving forward, I mean, what do you do at this point? A whole bunch of links for Crank cruising out across the field. Looks like he is going to beef up his entire army and get prepared for a large assault at the front door. Here comes your mutas again. Going to be cruising in. Looks like 10 of them again. Should be able to kill off quite a few of these probes, as well as take out that Photon Cannon there. So many losses here for Cheetah. It's just keeping Cheetah on his back foot, and that is just brutal position for him to be in. One Archon here kicking it in the mineral line for static defense, essentially. Looks like he may even be stuck there. No, not quite. But great play here from Crank. I'll tell you, man, he is really giving Cheetah some serious trouble, and that is not an easy task. Nice little spine crawler for us. This guy, Crank, also a friend to the environment here. Planting a nice spine crawler forest is really, really good deal. Taking time to be a friend to the environment. I like it. Cheetah is gearing up to have a pretty decent little force, and the nice thing is that Crank has committed a lot to the mutas, and eventually he's going to have to engage head on here with these mutas, and we'll see how that's going to go. If Cheetah can kill these guys off quickly and take a 3rd, maybe he will be able to make a comeback here. But let me look at the supply count now. Crank completely maxed out. ChitaPrime at 69 supply is no fun position, and he's going to be getting some more Archons here. But here comes your attack. This wall, if it does go down, that's going to open things up for Crank in a very big way. And here comes the Lings, I would assume. Lings and Roaches. Lings and Roaches. Time for an attack. Looks like Cheetah going to wall this off here slightly differently. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's going to just cover up that Photon Cannon. But here come your Lings. Good storm there. Going to be taking out or softening up those Lings there very quickly. No more storms at the ready, but look at this. The muta's kicking it right over top of some ranged units, and those Archons actually did a pretty decent amount of damage. This guy probably needs to come up and help. Great force fielding here, keeping these roaches out of position here for just a moment, while Cheetah does clean out quite a few of these units. But now, too many roaches in his face. I think we're probably going to see a GG from Cheetah here in just a few moments. There it is. GG, well played from Cheetah. Nice compliment there to Crank, so greatly done. Nicely done, I should say. And Crank, we definitely appreciate you coming out and beating ChitaPrime, I guess. We're definitely going to miss ChitaPrime, though. So, phenomenal stuff. We'll see Crank here moving forward. And thanks to Cheetah for coming out and playing with us every single time. He's such a great support to these tournaments. Catch you guys in our next game. So, don't tab always on Starcraft. Catch you guys then.